Suzuki's Chris Boric is launching an attack on Can-Am Grand National Cross Country Racing. The two-time and defending series champ is undefeated through the first two rounds of the 2011 season. The question is, can Boric be perfect, or is someone ready to step up today? Hello everyone, and welcome once again to Racer TV's coverage of the 2011 Can-Am Grand National Cross Country Series. I'm your host, Jason Wygant, and we are in Morganton, North Carolina for this, the FMF Steele Creek GNCC. And yes, FMF, the Flying Machine Factory. Well said, because we will have machines flying all over this track, up and down hills. We've got rocks, we've got tree roots, we've got creek crossings for both men and machine. And of course, the infamous Steele Creek Bridge. Got to be careful on that one. It's going to get slippery. We've got our morning race out there on the track right now, our 10 a.m. start for these riders. You'll have 4x4 machines out there, our women, our super seniors, our novices. So give you just a little preview of what the course has in store for our pro race. And the first two pro races this year dominated by Chris Boric. We've got Krista Shaw in the pits with two riders who are hoping to end his win streak today. Krista?
Adam, you got to redeem yourself a little bit in Georgia. You showed us you could still get that podium finish, but I know you want to finish up front. What's it going to take for you guys to beat Chris Boric?
I think it'll take a lot of luck. And the biggest problem we have now is that confidence goes a long way. And Chris's confidence, he's got his stuff working good, got his bike working well, and you know, when you're confident like that, it's hard to beat somebody. But I think that me and Beth will get up there with him and get one in front, one behind, and kind of, you know, do stuff like that with him, kind of get in his head. And that way he's got to work around one that's in front while the one behind kind of capitalizes while he's trying to get around the one in front. So, I mean, it's just going to take a lot of strategy to get by him, and I think we can do it today. It's supposed to rain, it's supposed to be nasty, so the Can-Ams always seem to excel in the mud. They're almost like a fish, I guess.
All right, with two podium finishes for the season, Chris Bithell is currently second in points. Chris, at the last race, you got out front, you led some laps. You and Chris Boric were running a pretty fast pace out there. Did you learn anything from that?
You know, I think each race we do learn something about each other, and you know, his pace is fast, and I was just trying to stay with him there last lap. He got a good pass on me, and I was just trying to figure out where he might make a mistake or I get around him. There was one or two lines that I knew about, and I was hoping he didn't, but you know, heck, you got to give it to him. He knows what he's doing out there. So he hit him, and so did I.
All right, well, we're here in North Carolina today going into the third round. We may get some rain. How are you feeling going into the race?
I'm feeling good. It's a little cold, but we'll get over it. Nothing I haven't dealt with before. You know, I'm ready to go.
All right, thanks, Chris, and thanks, Krista. We are ready to go as well. We'll give you the Racer TV track facts. Steele Creek, we have a 10-mile loop through the woods. We got ups and down hills, creek crossings, all that stuff we mentioned before. Lap times are probably going to be around 25 minutes, so we should be looking at a 5-lap race today. And you hear the crowd begin to come to life here because we're ready to go racing. Let's send it down to our live announcer, Rodney Tomlin.
And round number 1, the XC World Pro will be off and rolling, and their FMF Steele Creek GNCC.
And we're thundering into turn 1. It's a Honda out front. It's Jared McClure on the Yoakley Racing National Guard-backed Honda. McClure had a rough year last year on a Polaris, has switched to the Honda, and look at it pay off. He's got $250 from Motorsport for the whole shot today, but pressure being applied by Team Yamaha's Taylor Kaiser, and Kaiser already into the lead on the number 2 Balance Racing backed machine. And Kaiser not where he wanted to be the first 2 rounds this year. He was the one challenging Boric at most of the races last season. So we'll see if he can get that mojo back today. There is Boric just outside of the top 5 early. But Taylor Kaiser out front, the man from Florida, struggled a bit actually in his home race this year in our series opener. Out front now though, leading McClure, and that is McGill on the Warner Racing Foremost Insurance Can-Am. So a good start for him as we're across the Steele Creek Bridge. There's Kevin Yoho, Johnny Gallagher, and there is Boric. And what goes up must come down. This is the first time we've really had big elevation change at a GNCC this year. The Florida and Georgia rounds that we opened this tour with are relatively flat. Going to be a lot more strain on the brakes today, and it's also going to be tricky with lap traffic. You've got to maintain your momentum up some of these bigger hills, and you've got to play it smart, and that is where Boric has really improved his game over the last few years. Whoa, McGill has seized the lead already as we're down into the bottomlands and towards Steele Creek for the first time today. Here we go. There is McClure in third, then Yoho. Here's Boric. And we got Barry Hawk behind him with our GNCC helmet cam. We'll try to get you a view if that thing isn't already covered in mud. There's the other Can-Am rider on the left. That is Chris Bithell trying to make passes. He wants to get up front. That's where he was at our last race in Georgia. I know we're racing for 2 hours, but the start is very critical, and you can tell because Adam McGill's pumping his fist. He's leading it early.
Riders expect certain things from a Can-Am ATV. Groundbreaking technology, responsive handling, and the most power in every class. So why would they expect anything less from a Can-Am side-by-side? Introducing the Can-Am Commander, the most powerful rec utility side-by-side in the industry, with precision handling and the first dual-level cargo box. The facts say it's the most advanced side-by-side ever built, but the ride says it all.
Racer TV is brought to you by Can-Am, by AMSOIL, by DWT, and by Suzuki. Welcome back to the show. Adam McGill leading your way here at the FMF Steele Creek Grand National Cross Country Race. We're in the hills of North Carolina. Taylor Kaiser is second. Jared McClure third after grabbing your motorsport hole shot. There is Chris Boric, and behind him again we got Barry Hawk with our helmet cam. And let's hop on. AMSOIL going to bring you the coverage, and this is what it's like. You see there is no room for error here at all. The trail is basically bike handlebar width. It's barely wide enough to fit an ATV. So you kick this machine sideways, you have to be so precise. If you get too far to the left or the right, you're tagging a tree. And take it from me, trees don't move. It's like hitting a concrete wall if you hit one of those things with one of their tires. So as fast as these guys have to be, they really have to be precise and technically perfect more than anything else. Especially when you consider how long these races are, to not make a mistake or hit one of these trees. Look at that, McClure able to thread the needle. You make one little mistake in a section like this, and your whole race is blown. So oftentimes these races come down to just 1 millisecond, a lapse of concentration here and there. That can be the ultimate deciding factor. Now, of course, you've got to be fast, you've got to be strong, you've got to be in shape, you've got to have the right equipment. But Chris Boric has prevailed so many times this year. Here he is coming through because of the last lap, when everyone's really picking up the pace, the track is rough, there's lap traffic everywhere, he is able to avoid those big mistakes. So that's the challenge for everyone else today. They've got Boric behind them right now, but we've seen this scenario time and time again. And you know, there's your defending champ. He's not going to panic. He's got his buddy Bithell right behind him. Now we're down into the mud, and Kaiser has taken the lead back. Then it's McClure, Boric, and a completely different line there from Bithell. And I guess we actually missed McGill in this shot. He's already come through. Let's hook back on with our AMSOIL helmet cam. This is behind McGill, I believe, right now. You can see the red gear. And Hawk knows how to ride these courses. He's won 7 of these ATV championships and one on the bike as well. So good to have Barry Hawk on our Racer TV crew this year. And speaking of the crew, look at this gang coming through. It looks almost like a bunch of riders on a nice Saturday afternoon trail ride through the forest. But trust me, it's going to get hot, it's going to get heavy as this race goes on. Shout out to Brian Wolf there in the 341, making his transition up into the pro class this year, as is Kevin Yoho, who had a good start earlier. Well, there's McGill trying to put some distance between himself and Kaiser. Then it's McClure, Boric, and Bithell. And early in these races, what you're really trying to do is just put yourself in position to be there at the end. And I think we can already see who the contenders are today. Obviously, McGill, your leader. Kaiser, McClure, Boric, Bithell. These 5 riders have already established themselves as the men to beat here at Steele Creek. And we're, speaking of, going through Steele Creek right now. Not quite as muddy as it has been in years past. They're able to get onto some high ground. Yeah, it's sandy, yeah, it's whooped out, but that's a whole lot better than running through a creek, because it is cold today, and if you get your hands or your boots completely covered in that freezing cold water, man, that is going to make for a long race day. Now we'll snake our way through the grass track, and they set these courses up at these grass track areas near the finish line because often these races do come down to the final lap and the final couple of turns, and as you can see, plenty of opportunity for passing. Boric has made a pass on McClure. McClure trying to get him back. I'm looking forward to that. If these guys can get close toward the end, and you can see Wolf was actually closed up on Bithell. If it's that close in the last lap, you could see some passes right down there in the wire. McGill doesn't want that to happen. He's through pit lane for the 2nd time today, and no issues. Meanwhile, into the pits for fuel, you've got Kaiser on the right, you've got Boric on the left, and they're going to go to the back of this train, and then they're going to hope they can make up ground later on. But did they take out enough fuel this time to get all the way to the finish? A long way to go.
Current GNCC champion Josh Strang has one thing on his mind: winning. To get him over the finish line first, Josh uses the Suzuki RMZ 450, a precision machine designed to leave the competition in the dust. With its potent fuel-injected 4-stroke engine and race-developed chassis, the RMZ 450 is the complete package that wins championships and collects #1 plates. The RMZ 450, it's why champions choose Suzuki. They win. Head down to your local Suzuki dealer today and see one in person.
Racer TV is brought to you by Can-Am, by Amsoil, by DWT, and by Suzuki. Looking at the Woods Warriors of the GNCC Tour, and we've had major shakeups since we went to break on Racer TV. Chris Bithell has gone all the way to the lead, and then he's got his teammate Adam McGill right behind him, and we'll hook on with our Amsoil helmet cam, chase those two through the woods. Sounds good, huh? You see they're working their way to the top elevations, now headed back down. And with the Warner Foremost Can-Am boys hooking up and putting some distance between themselves, Boric, Kaiser, and the rest of the field, it's Brian Wolf coming through next. They are going to try to run in formation, and the last 2 years these guys have been teammates. We've seen this happen time and time again. It doesn't really matter where they start. They seem to find each other, McGill and Bithell, during the race, and clearly they are comfortable chasing each other. I mean, this is like an ad right now for the Can-Am DS450, these two hooking up. We'll see if the Suzuki here of Boric or the Yamaha of Kaiser can close back in. Now, we have heard, though, that Kaiser might be in trouble beyond just track position. He did make a little bit of a wrong turn earlier in this race, and they've determined he was more than 25 feet away from the arrow. See the tree there on the left with the orange arrow? You have to be within 25 feet of those course markers all the way around the track. If you are not, you can be penalized, and we hear there may be a penalty coming via just in time at the end of this race. They're going to let these guys race it out, though, but we'll see if that affects Kaiser at the end. Right now we know this: Chris Bithell has made the moves he needed to make. He's into the lead, but just as quickly as we thought the two Can-Ams might be able to make this a two-horse race, look, you got Boric and Kaiser just fighting those machines, trying to make that ground back up, with Wolf and McClure not too far back. Great racing here in North Carolina. And speaking of that, we're going to give you the highlights of our AM race today, where our 4x4s, our amateurs, our women, they get to have at it. This is your open 4x4 class, and another hole shot for Zach Sikowski. The man from Wisconsin has been awesome off the starts this year. We had a rollover. That's a lot of machine to get back onto all four wheels, but no problems there. Go back to the start for our women's class. Kristen Atwell, your defending class champion. Out front early in that one, she's got Tracy Checo in hot pursuit. And here is your utility unlimited division. The man who's been dominating that one is Cliff Beasley. And he's got your whole shot there. Cut forward a couple miles into the race. Michael Swift of the number 210 has grabbed the overall lead and is leading 4x4 open. 399 Rick Checo trying to chase him down. Yet the women's class looking to make up ground as well. And Checo still putting pressure on Atwell. This is a great race as we race through Steele Creek. And now they've all kind of met in the middle, and that's what's interesting about these races. On some sections, the 4x4 machines are faster. In other areas, the women who are riding the lighter, smaller 450 Sport Quads have an advantage. Today, Dave Simmons there in the center wins your super senior class and the overall. Tracy Checo wins the women's class, she's second overall. And Michael Swift wins 4x4 open and is third overall. Great racing in our morning race and great racing so far this afternoon. Chris Borch, Taylor Kaiser, they are really getting aggressive now. Brian Wolf, Jared McClure trying to stay close with them. You've got two Can-Am riders fleeing out front. 3 laps complete, 2 laps to go here at Steele Creek. And you got to figure that Bithell and McGill, it's almost like you just know Chris Borch is going to be there in the end. You heard the confidence factor that McGill was talking about when we talked to him at the top of the show. There's Borch. No matter where he is halfway through the races, by the time the white flag comes out, he's always in position to strike and steal the win. And until these riders are able to prove that they can hold him off on the last lap, they're going to be thinking about him, and they have reason to think about him now because he has caught up, he has closed the gap, he's brought Kaiser with him. It's a great race. Wolf, McClure, not that far back. If they get a mistake from the leaders, one of those two could pull off the victory today. So here we go, we're headed down to the white flag in the final lap. Borch is right there, Kaiser is right there, both challenging Bithell and McGill, and you like the fact that we've got multiple manufacturers up front, the Can-Am, the Suzuki, the Yamaha, the Honda. And here we are in the field section, in that grass track we mentioned earlier. You can make passes here, and Borch is looking to make one. He's already gotten back around McGill, and he's trying to make a run around Bithell. Down to the inside, can't make it happen. White flag is out, we're ready for this stretch run, stay tuned.
Any engine, any season, at home, at the track, or on the trail. Amsoil, the first in synthetics.
Cast, beadlocked, or spot, the DWT brand has always stood for one thing: perfection. And now DWT means wheels and tires, including the new Moapa utility tires designed for work and play. Then check out DWT's awesome new Sector 3-piece wheel. Dent a rim? Just replace the outer wheel. Plus our full line of competition tires and wheels boxed to match how you race. DWT wheels and tires. Performance, protection, perfection.
Racer TV is brought to you by Can-Am, by Amsoil, by DWT, and by Suzuki. Pedal to the metal, boys. Give it everything you got. Steele Creek Grand National Cross Country Race, and we have got a full-scale war here. Chris Bithell, Chris Borch, Adam McGill, Taylor Kaiser, and Barry Hawk gonna check out the mosquito spray here from Kaiser. Kaiser obviously having some engine problems, but it has not slowed his pace. Now these boys got to deal with lap traffic as well. Not as much steam from Kaiser's machine this time. Uh-oh, Chris Borch has gotten into the lead. How many times have we seen this happen on the last lap? It is an instant replay, for example, of our last race in Georgia. McGill and Kaiser third and fourth. These guys have to find something extra. The Borch fans in the woods cheering him. They want to see another patented last lap Chris Borch pass. They've seen it. Now they want to see another patented Chris Borch come from behind victory, and it might be en route. if I were Bithell, if I were McGill, Kaiser, you got to get desperate at one of these points. Although you can't really get aggressive if the guy's putting distance between you, and he's doing it now. He just saved something for the final lap, and they don't have any way to respond. Got a little bit of a change here. McGill now up to the number 2 spot, and he is keeping the heat on board, so he's going to give it a run. And Bithell, Kaiser, all right there. Kaiser picking a new line over there on the right. Short way around, but that's a steep climb. Not sure if that's going to pay off. Back into the open stuff. Where's Boric? McGill, Bithell, Kaiser come through. Where is your defending champ? There he is. And listen to his engine. Mechanical problems down the stretch, and McGill has got the opportunity now to grab his first victory in over 2 years. Bithell, Kaiser, they know the door is open as well. This is going to be a fantastic race down the stretch. Boric presumably out of the battle for the lead. Here we go now. McGill, look over his shoulder. He's in this grass track section. He has a couple of quad lengths between him and his teammate Bithell. We know you can make passes through here, but luckily McGill has opened up enough distance where I don't think anyone's going to be able to pressure him. McGill has been on the podium quite a bit the last couple of years, but today could be the breakthrough as Kaiser tries to get down to the inside on Bithell. Can't make it happen. McGill heading for daylight. The checkered flag's inside and he wins. Steele Creek, Kaiser and Bithell battling right down to the last turn. Unbelievable. Check out the Suzuki results though. Kaiser, as we suspected, was penalized. Jared McClure will take third, Boric fifth. Let's go to our winner on the podium with Krista.
All right, Adam McGill, I talked to you earlier and you told me confidence was key, and I think you had that here today.
Oh yeah, it definitely feels good to be back, you know. It was a good time. Glad to be back up front, you know. I don't know what happened to Boric out there, but, you know, finally, ended the streak, done it, got my confidence back, and I'm ready to kick some butt in South Carolina.
How long has it been since we have seen you?
Oh gosh, it's been almost 2 years since I've won a race, and it feels so good to be back, and especially on a new brand, you know, starting a new foot, new team. You know, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to win another one. So we'll see how it goes in South Carolina.
It's good to see you back.
For sure.
And as we check out the DWT standings, look, Boric's lead has been cut back. Bithell, Kaiser, McGill, they're in the hunt for this one. Let's give you the Can-Am race recap. Sorry, to show you exactly how this race broke down. Jared McClure, grab your motorsport pole shot. Taylor Kaiser soon had the lead. There was Adam McGill. McGill led this thing early, but the man on the move was his teammate, Chris Bithell, who was about fifth early, would come to take the lead from McGill. They would run in tandem for the majority of this race, while Chris Boric, Taylor Kaiser, McClure, Brian Wolf, the rest of these boys just tried to keep them in sight. On the last lap, though, no surprise. Chris Boric struck, he got the lead, but Adam McGill wasn't going to let him have it easy. He stayed close to the defending champ down the stretch, and then Boric ran into mechanical problems, lost power in his engine. McGill rolled by and took the win. Congrats to him. For everyone at Racer TV, including Krista Shaw, I'm Jason Wygant. Thanks for watching.